Welcome back to The Edge. Hey, goodbye, Google My Business. Google also tells us that where we should put our videos for maximum exposure. And we've got a new Page Speed Insight version and page experience update coming to desktop. You're listening to News from The Edge for the week of November 8th, 2021, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, owner of Site Strategics. If you're new to the show, every week we bring you amazing guests to chat with and talk about digital marketing trends and topics. Each week we're covering SEO and digital marketing news separate from our interview podcast each and every week, getting more news to you even more quickly so you can use it, except for this week because we kind of didn't feel good on Monday, so we're making back up for it on Wednesday. Be sure to check out everything over at edgeofthewebradio.com, edgeofthewebradio.com. This is the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of the Edge of the Web. Unfortunately, Mordy's not joining us this week because he's in a meeting, for God's sakes. What in the world is that? What could be more important than jumping on the podcast and going over news with us, Mordy? Shame. But we got a sick dog, Jacob, that's in the production booth. How you doing, man?
Is that the label I get now?
It's a sick dog.
I need to update my lower thirds there. Sick dog.
Dude,
Jacob.
man, how you feeling?
We're getting through it. There's something running through the family. Kids have ear infections and stuff. That's not COVID. So
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
My wife pointed out it's the first time anyone in our family's been sick in almost 2 years. So it hit everybody at once.
Oh, my Lord.
It's been fun.
And this is the season, and that's the freaky thing is that we always have to navigate this now with such a heightened sense of awareness and alert. And you've got 4 kids, I've got 4 kids, and we know that this is the time that we all get sick,
Right.
and it comes in waves in a large family like that.
Yeah, and they've just obviously opened up vaccination stats for the kids. My kids are
Right.
all been under 12, so they haven't had a chance yet.
Right.
But now we're going to wait until they're healthy so that when they get that vaccination for the first time, if they have any,
Yeah.
side effects, I know that the first one was fine for me, but the second one put me down for a day.
Yep.
I just don't want to combine that with whatever they're going through or, have
You gotta
any
wait a little
questions.
bit on
So
that.
Just got to get healthy. And so we've put
Get
that
healthy
off.
so you can get sick again.
Right. So we put that off an extra week now, but
Oy.
get there.
Well, best of health to the Mann family there. I know you got a couple kiddos at home. Thanks for coming in and
oh yeah,
doing the show here.
that's what the glass is for.
Exactly.
Keeps us all safe.
You better believe it. All right. So Marty's not AOL. AWOL. It's not AOL.
I mean, I normally use his work email address, but maybe his personal is AOL.
Should we send him over an AOL disk or something like that?
We should.
All right. Hey, so we're going to pivot around and get some news to you here real quick. Let's take a look at our first article from Barry Sports over at Search Engine Roundtable. Yeah, I led with this. Goodbye, Google My Business, and hello, Google Business Profile. Google has changed the name of its local business management product once again. Barry thinks it might be the sixth time to actually change the name. Google's changed the name of this product. It's now known as Google Business Profile, and it will no longer be called Google My Business. However, Joy Hawkins is adamant that since they haven't changed it officially inside of Google My Business, she's going to keep on calling it that until they change it. That was a funny tweet. Last night, the previous names, he went through kind of a chronology. Yesterday, it was Google My Business Profile. That was changed in 2014. Before that, it was Google Plus Local in 2012. Google Places in 2010, I'm sorry. Google Local Business Center in 2007. So if you don't know what in the world we're talking about, it's probably safe to say that at some point in time you had one of those products. It's the same product here, but what's really interesting here is not the name change. They're actually saying that they being Google want businesses with one listing to manage their listings in Google Search and or on Google Maps. Google does not want you to use the new Google Business Profile Manager, aka Google My Business, but rather search for your business in Google Search and Maps and then edit it there. You can search for the business name, by name, or search for your business. Google has been moving in this direction recently, but very small signs of this coming in 2017. Those who have multiple listings like chains or local SEOs can still use the Google Business Profile Manager. That's actually kind of interesting here. So you need to claim, if you haven't already claimed your business, claim and verify the business. You don't have to redo this. You're just going to be, since you're already logged in and have access to that, you'll be able to manage it right from Google search. I'm kind of concerned about that because the Google My Business desktop app was giving us a heck of a lot of stats and performance data, and I'm assuming that we're still going to be able to see that. But more importantly, what I see here, they're actually going to be decommissioning the local business app. Now, for businesses that are actually responding to messages online, having that app right there on your phone is incredibly valuable. And, they are rolling out call history and read receipts for messaging. But if they're actually shutting down the Google My Business mobile app and managing it straight from Google search, I'm concerned that a lot of the interactivity will not be responded to because you're never at your desktop on a regular basis. Jacob, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know. I honestly, you know what my biggest concern is?
What's that?
Around the office, we talk about GMB.
I know.
And now we're going to talk about
GBP.
GBP, which sounds like Great Britain pounds. We're going to think we're like trying to exchange money over here.
We got to convert that to GBP.
Obviously, I'm concerned about the most important things here.
Just how you refer to it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is a heightened concern there, but the map is changing, pun intended, and we have to roll with their sandbox. But we were seeing a heck of a lot of evolution in the Google My Business application, desktop and mobile.
I definitely think the apps are the way to go. I don't know, the best way to get people involved, I think. And it's weird that a company that has mobile first indexing is moving away from an app, but
yeah, to the same degree as that we saw Google Plus die in flames. This is the most successful business property outside of ads in the entire monetization of managing interactivity. And we've seen even organic search to websites get reduced by the increased visibility of their Google My Business profile, right? So it's a very hefty application. And on top of that, the management and the app itself was a boon to local businesses to be able to respond quickly. We'll see how this goes, but I'm kind of concerned about what this change actually means to local businesses.
Yeah.
All right, another article over from Search Engine Land. I think this is also by Barry Sources. Well, boy, it's a Barry day here on the edge. Google recommends placing videos on dedicated pages for maximum exposure. Google updated its video best practices SEO guide to say if you want a video to perform well in search, place it prominently on a dedicated page. They updated its video best practices help document and had a section around how to help your video gain maximum exposure in Google search. The updated section says to give your videos maximum exposure, create a dedicated page for each video where the video is most prominent subject on the page. In short, Barry says, if you want the video to perform its best in Google search says place a video on its own dedicated page. I'm kind of repeating it myself here, but make sure the video is placed. What does most prominent area of the page mean? Well, they actually did an illustration, and it's pretty easy to see there. It's top of the bloody page. So lead with the video. Don't park the video down below any content. Rich results, Barry says, may actually require it. Google also added that some search features like key moments and live badges and some rich results may require the video to have its own dedicated page. Google wrote some features that require the type of video page includes key moments, live badge, and other rich formats. Okay, so that said, if you have your videos tucked away, and we actually do that regularly, we tuck our videos at the bottom of our show pages. We probably need to rethink what we're wanting to do from a video optimization standpoint.
It's always something changing.
I tell you, I know it absolutely is.
What do you think impact this has on? So here's my thought. If I'm searching for something and I either click on the videos tab, or just to look at videos specifically, or even the videos that just creep their way into the search results.
Yep.
I've never thought about this before. Do you think those are ranking because they're on YouTube and embedded on a page somewhere? Because normally when I click on it, I just go to YouTube.
Right.
Do you think that by placing a video at the top of a page by itself, it's elevating that to show up in those search results, and even if it just takes you then to the YouTube page? Or...
Are you talking about the search results inside of YouTube?
No, I'm talking about on Google
right.
when I search, and then sometimes I click on videos, or sometimes videos creep in there, like how-tos. Like I'm always like, how do I edit video, because I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right.
So when I look on how to do something and then a video pops up, I click it. It normally takes me into YouTube.
Right.
Do you think that
it's been positioned by a page previously, a dedicated page to be able to get
that? So you think that there's a chance that exists on someone's page, but Google's just taking me to the YouTube video for it.
Right. So the page is kind of lifting up the asset, but the asset itself is a direct YouTube asset. I'm sure that's what's happened in a lot of scenarios here. But here's a challenge here is that if the video requires a dedicated page, right, for this type of optimization, a lot of times the video is an accompanying piece for a larger piece of context that's not a dedicated content to the video. Video is usually a supplemental, not usually, but you can certainly see it as, here's a snippet about how to do this, but this is the article that we've written that's much deeper, right? Now, if that video needs its own dedicated page, it also needs its own dedicated content around that video, right?
Sure.
So now we're talking about blossoming out different pages that support video for video optimization. It's not enough to actually have the video that is semantically connected to the topic that you're talking about. It now has to stand alone. That is a little bit cumbersome in my assessment. You could very well have the video in the same place. Is that cannibalization if you're actually having the video that is an accompanying piece to a larger document? Do you now have a thumbnail to go to this dedicated video page? And that's a terrible user experience.
Yeah, extra clicking.
But I mean, if they're wanting that video to be prominently positioned, you got to prominently position me. It has to be above something else. It can't just be a thin page with no content. So it's got to have content, and that content has to be revolved around the video itself.
Right.
It seems like a little bit of new work for all of us that have videos out there.
The example does show the video at the top, and then video description or transcript. I mean, a transcript's going to be huge.
Sure.
I don't know how long a description could be. So it could be that the content around a video could stay the same as long as the video's at the top.
Right.
But then you've got questions like, a show like ours that's a video and podcast.
Right.
Do we put the podcast first? Do we leave the podcast? Do we leave the video?
Right.
Like, what do you... How do you make that all work?
And we're unique because we've got the full show dedicated. But if you actually, like I was saying, if you have a video that's an illustrative video about a procedure, right, and it's 15 seconds long, and the document, the page that it's on references 15 procedures,
right,
that means that if you're wanting to have that video optimized, you're literally going to put each of those 15 videos theoretically on their own page. And that necessitates its own content. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking too hard about this.
No, I don't think so. We just don't have an answer yet.
But we do have an answer of who is our sponsor for this show each and every week. Site Strategics is a title sponsor of Edge of the Web. We're pioneers in agile digital marketing methodology. Our core specialties are technical SEO, soon to be additional video SEO optimization. Social media, search engine marketing, and much more. Results-based marketing that works. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, just drop us a line, because we're also pretty specialized in the omni-channel media production, of which you're partaking, either podcast or video work right here. So give us a shout over at 877-SEO for web or 877-736-4932. We'd love to work with you. There's been a number of clients that have heard us over the 10 years that we've been doing this show, and we'd certainly love to work with you. So we give a free hour consultation to give you some insights on what is out there that you could leverage for your digital marketing success. All right. Third article, which is kind of the third and fourth article. I want to swing this back around because we have been paying attention to page speed insights. In fact, our last show with Victor Zistromiski, we dug deep into PSI as well as Core Web Vitals. We'll check this out over at search engine journal with Matt Southern, Google is launching a new version of PageSpeed Insights. Google announces new features coming in PageSpeed Insights designed to modernize the user interface and make data easier to understand. If you haven't experienced PageSpeed Insights, it's a fantastic tool to be able to gauge the performance of your website from loading time of multiple elements in your DOM. They're actually launching a new version of Insights that aims to address many of the challenges.
Are they going to rename it?
Probably.
Just checking.
Probably. So the existing version, it has been a little bit clunky, but one of the biggest problems with PageSpeed Insights is how the data is actually presented. So there's no clear separation between lab data and field data. And if you want to know about that, please check out our Victor Zitermisky episode. We explained a lot about these two concepts. There's many how-to blog posts have been written about the subject of interpreting the PageSpeed Insights report, and that's mainly due to the confusion created by its design. So the new version of PageSpeed Insights that's on the web today is actually using 10-year-old code, the current version, I should say. And it's about time for a redesign. So their primary goals for the upcoming redesign, they're going to make the UI more intuitive by differentiating between, like I said, lab data and field data, communicate how Core Web Vitals assessment is calculated in the UI, and modernize the look and feel of the UI by leveraging material design. Pretty cool. Here are the updates that are going to be coming up for PageSpeed Insights. Separation of field and lab data, Core Web Vitals assessment, labels for mobile and desktop performance, Origin summary. Google's moving this report section to a new tab, Origin, under the field data section. Expanded view, a new expand view feature adds a function to the field data section that allows users to view granular details for the Core Web Vital metrics. Page image. Google's removing the image of the loaded page from its current location, which it is next to the field data. The image and the thumbnail will be both available in the lab data section. Lastly, Google's adding a section at the bottom of every field and lab card that displays the following details about the sample data. Check it out. Data, collection period, visit durations, devices, network connections, sample size, and Chrome extension. So that's pretty cool. They're unpacking a heck of a lot more for us to understand about the experience that people are having, where they're coming from, how many connections have been to that particular page. The additional information should be able to, as Matt says, make the distinction between lab and field data even clearer, which helps users who were previously confused about the two data sources, which I'm sure a lot of listeners are still confused. So go back, listen to our shows, and you can actually get a better and clearer idea of what field and lab data is all about. So any thoughts in that vein, Jacob, about PageSpeed Insights?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm interested to see what the new stuff can do. I always like seeing, we use those tools a lot, so
Sure.
it'll be great to see what the new stuff can do and kind of get in there and play around with it a little bit. So
yeah, we're going to have fun with it. And interesting enough, we've had a lot of different utilization of tools out there to be able to interpret PageSpeed Insights. But here's something that's a dovetail into this, is that Google's also announcing a page experience algorithm update coming up very soon, February 2022, for desktops. So we wanted to throw this fourth article out here real quick, and this is from Matt Southern over at Search Engine Journal again, is the page experience algorithm updates, which we have previously experienced, and that I believe was in June. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I think it was in June.
sounds good to me.
All right. They're confirming, or perhaps it was August. Somebody shout at me whenever this goes live. Google confirms the page experience algorithm update, which rolled out mobile earlier this year, will actually be applied to desktop search results. The update is slated to launch February 2022 and finish rolling out at the end of March 2022. Google's page experience update for desktop search builds on top of the algorithm that launched in the summer of 2021. The desktop algorithm update will be using the same ranking signals as the mobile update. To quote Google, this means the same three Core Web Vital metrics, LCP, FID, and CLS, and their associated thresholds will apply for desktop ranking. Other aspects of page experience signals, such as HTTPS, security, and absence of intrusive interstitials will remain same as well. So granted that we had to focus on mobile because mobile was the biggest user base to be able to lead with, and we've been mobile first indexing for the longest time, but best have your desktop in order as well. And kind of goes without saying, if you're optimizing for page speed, we always look at desktop and mobile much more focused, but it should come right along with your optimization. If for any reason your desktop is lagging behind from an optimization standpoint, couldn't figure out why it would happen that way, but you should be paying attention to that. And with a algorithm update comes ranking changes and ranking volatility. So please, as you go into February, we'll be talking about it more as it comes, but rest assured that there's an algorithm coming, and they're giving us fair warning that it's going to be playing into the ecosystem there in the first quarter. So hold on to your hats.
There you go.
All right, so just to let you know about SEO Chat, Mordy is regularly monitoring and promoting SEO Chat on Twitter, 1 p.m. Eastern, every Thursday. This week's SEO Chat is going to be hosted by Sam Underwood. At Sam Underwood UK is his Twitter handle, and make sure that you watch the SEO hashtag as it goes through. Some great collaboration in that space, some fantastic questions and answers, and you never know who's actually going to be at that water cooler. Some great names show up there on a regular basis, even Mordy Oberstein. So, pay attention there, and we want to make sure that you also contribute into that and ask questions. If you have questions that come from this show, bring them over there. We'll be certain to answer them as well, because we're trying to be in there as much as possible to be able to participate. So that's it for The Edge this week. Any final thoughts, Jacob?
Drink your orange juice. That's it.
Pile the vitamin C.
Yes.
Make sure you take your vitamins, your vitamin D and zinc too, right?
Get a pane of glass between you and your children. This is what I have
I
to
think
do.
that's actually a good rule of thumb, regardless of whether you're sick or not.
Right.
Just pretty much contain your children in a glass bubble someplace else in the house.
And lucky for me, my kids don't hear this, but I know that sometimes yours do. So that should be an interesting conversation later this week.
Yes, I do torture my kids with a podcast. I tease them that I put an Easter egg in there, and they'll get their allowance if they listen to the show.
You should just tell what the Wi-Fi password is. Change it every week and put it in the show.
That is wonderful.
But then how would they hear the show if they don't have the Wi-Fi password? Right, we got to rethink this.
Well, they're going to jump into the data and then pull data down. So one way, shape, or form. All right, that's it for Edge. Be sure to listen to the Darren Shaw from White Spark episode talking about local SEO. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as we get the channel updated, dropped in videos, and whenever we go live on there. Be sure to pay attention there because we have a great time when we do go live. From all of us over at Edge, stay safe, stay well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.